AskReddit by Watchdog the God. What's a myth that everyone believes? That lottery winners are miserable and go bankrupt. The oft quoted 70% figure is apocryphal and not backed by any evidence. Satisfaction $? equals 20cc 485 E6 ccc. I feel like this is appealing to some people because it reinforces the idea that poverty isn't just a money issue and that poor people are actually just undisciplined, dumb and will fail even if you give them money. The Orson Welles radio broadcast of War of the Worlds caused mass hysteria. The mass hysteria was made up by newspapers. It's fake news. Made for a great Halloween episode of Hey Arnold though. The more you shave, the thicker your hair will grow. It's to convince teenagers to shave their terrible patchy beards. Not only are bats not actually blind, fruit bats can't echolocated and have excellent night vision. When I was in middle school, my science teacher and I got into a slightly heated argument about this. He told me I'm wrong but I was right, and I even brought in research showing I was right, and he refused. He also refused to acknowledge Rosalind Franklin's contribution to DNA discovery and only promoted Watson and Crick despite them stealing her work. I also argued with him about that. The class told me to be quiet and he's the teacher so he's right, but God, when I went to college and learned about these things again, it was vindicating. That polygraph machines are dependable. Same with eyewitness testimony. I don't know about everyone, but I know a lot of people who believe that daddy long legs are deadly, venomous, and the only reason they can't kill you is because their fangs are too small. Some kinds of daddy long legs are not technically spiders, have no fangs and no venom glands. Other kinds have fangs that can pierce skin, but their venom is harmless. Triple myth. I've worked at 4 universities managing student crisis, mental health and behavior. Every campus has a myth that if your roommate dies or you get hit by a campus bus, you get free tuition or an automatic 4.0 for the semester. That does not happen. You just get extended exam or deadlines. Maybe no roommate for the remainder of the year. Edit, typo metal to mental. A foreign exchange student at my university blindly walked in front of a car while reading, and the whole town got 6 more red lighted crosswalks on a half-mile stretch of road that wouldn't have saved her anyway because she blindly walked in front of a car and wasn't even at a crosswalk. So if that's somehow part of your campus mythos, it may actually be true. That we only use 10% of our brains. We only use 33% of traffic lights. That it can't get any worse. I spent 13 years in the military. It can always get worse. Carrots improve your eyesight. It was British propaganda during WWII. Yeah, but have you ever seen a rabbit with eyeglasses? A fracture is the same as a break. Contrary to popular belief, fracture is just the medical term. I didn't break my arm and have it bruise up. I fractured it and suffered a contusion. You have to wait 15 minutes after eating to get back into the pool. One of the biggest lies of my childhood. It might cause you some level of discomfort though if you are swimming. That's a physical activity, and doing anything too physical after eating can make you feel some level of discomfort like nausea and such. Personality tests like MBTI or the Enneagram. Almost none of them were developed by actual psychologists, and many have really questionable backstories if you wanna go down that rabbit hole. They've been proven to be inaccurate, and although I do find it kinda fun to take the little online tests, at the end of the day they are just pop psychology. These drive me nuts. People don't look into any evidence of how not helpful or accurate they are. They just go, oh it's me. This is amazing. I think humans are really complicated, and anything to help simplify themselves and others or make things easier to understand is attractive to people. Questions posted on our AskReddit are just BuzzFeed interns trying to get their next shitty countdown list together. No, that's true. If you swallow gum, it stays in your system for 7 years. Yeah, that's cause it's 8 years. The alpha wolf myth. The guy who popularized the theory, David Mech, has spent the last 50 years telling everybody that he was wrong, but nobody wants to listen. That karma will take care of whatever suffering people are going through, when in reality that's just a coping method for victims hoping for justice in whatever form. From what I have seen, the most evil people have yet to meet that karma, but somehow karma never seems to cross their path. Haha. You know, I used to think it was awful that life was so unfair. Then I thought, wouldn't it be much worse if life were fair, and all the terrible things that happen to us come because we actually deserve them? So, now I take great comfort in the general hostility and unfairness of the universe. Marcus Cole, Babylon 5. That the BBB is some kind of governmental regulatory entity. It's just a business, and companies can pay for good scores. Plucking a grey hair can cause more grey hairs to form. The Great Wall of China being visible from space. This one always annoyed me even as a kid. It's not very wide or tall. It's just long. But any resolution with which you can make it out would mean you'd see any normal paved road as well. 2 minutes of critical thinking would reveal it's BS. That if you ask an undercover officer if he's a cop, he has to tell you. To add to this, most people believe this to be entrapment. It is not. Entrapment is when an officer, undercover or not, convinces an otherwise law-abiding person to commit a crime. The evil queen originally said mirror mirror on the wall. Likewise, that Vader said Luke, I am your father. If you give tax cuts to the wealthy, their wealth will trickle down. Ah, good old voodoo economics. That good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. This has a name. It's called the just world fallacy. It's problematic because people are inclined to believe that people always deserve the bad that happens to them, or people believe the luck they get is because they are deserving of it. Really, it's more depressing to understand that bad things or good things can happen to people who don't deserve them. That vaginas get loose with sex. They don't. Specifically that they get loose due to the magic of sex with multiple penises 4,000 times with one man? Showroom new. 6 times with 6 men? Total wizard sleeve.